we have friends that are like that and we find them genuinely annoying.
Yeah.
You have friends like that. I have friends like that. I have a friend that I just went to dinner with, and it literally was 2 days of trying to decide where to have dinner. And, I just was like, you pick, I don't care. But it was like, well, should we go here? Oh, but this place is newer and trendier. But this place has better food. I'm like, literally, after 2 days, I was going to pull my hair out. So I don't know what I'm going to do watching a whole season of who has the nicer charcuterie board.
And then you want to know, Melissa, why I just want to stay home and work. Like,
Yes, me too.
Like, I'm okay with no friends. Let me just go on record. I'm just okay. You know how they say the older you get, the smaller your circle gets. Well, I'm gonna vouch for that one, guys.
Party of one.
Party of one. I'm the same way. I'm like, I mean, I am so exhausted from working. I don't care. Like, pick a restaurant, tell me a time. You should be thrilled that I'm so easy. Tell me a time, tell me a location. I will be there. It could be all the way across town, even in LA. I will get there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So speaking of LA and restaurants,
Yes.
Vanderpump. Okay. So Raquel is now Rachel.
She says she's Rachel now. She's changed her name back. She hasn't started filming yet, but there are pictures which have surfaced in the past also few hours of her for the first time seen outside the facility in the Meadows in Arizona, or I think she's in Arizona, or maybe she's home in LA, but she hasn't filmed yet, but she's coming back. So people need to get ready for that. Also, there's a lot of drama now, too, is that they're all in Vegas on the cast trip for Lisa's new restaurant, Wolf, and they take this group picture. Mind you, Ariana's not there. She got paid God knows how much to go to Love Island. So Vanderpump is probably like, I guess they probably worked that out in the contract, right? You can come back, but we understand you now make all this money doing other things, and it's also great promo for the show. So Ariana's not even there, but Scheana is like standing next to Tom. She has her arm around him, as you need to when it's your job. And the people have come for Scheana. How could you be standing next to that guy? And I mean,
really, there's lots of times that you have to stand in a picture next to coworkers that you don't care for, but you do it. I can't tell you how many executives I've had to stand in pictures with that I don't care for.
Yeah, Scheana's claps back. It is like, I don't understand. I'm not supposed to do my job. And
exactly. Let's talk more about Rachel / Raquel.
Yes.
And you and I discussed this. I think she really did have a nervous breakdown. Because I know a lot of people are saying that she didn't. It's a publicity thing. She needed to get out of there where people could leave her alone and let the storm blow over. I think this was her sort of emotional bottom. It is really hard when the entire world turns against you. And I don't think she was prepared for that at all, obviously. And I don't think you got to wonder, we talk about what she's 28.
Yeah.
At 28, you make terrible decisions in general. So what do you think? Do you think this was a real rock bottom moment, and that by becoming Rachel again, she's getting back to who she was before all of this Vanderpump show came along?
As I always say, I'm behind the velvet rope. Two things get to be true. And I do think, I agree with you. I do think she had a real mental breakdown. Listen, like when you're 28, look at any age, it's hard to handle, right? But I think like at 28, you don't have the life skills to realize, girl, there's a long life ahead of you. Like this will pass. So I do think like when the whole world hates you, and somehow she was villainized more than Tom was. So I do think she had a real mental breakdown, but I also feel that she has a team behind her that is like, let's get some money now if they want, as you should. I don't blame you, right? Like she is the one we want to hear from. So I think the team behind her, it's being marketed really well. And I don't know. I mean, if it were me and I was on a team, I would say how brilliant that you can just go back. How many of us have a name that we can fall back on? What a great way to go back and have a whole new story arc and say, like, I'm changed, and have also in the world of public opinion, have the world start to think of you differently. So I think it was real, but I think there's a marketing team now as well.
But those things don't always pass. It is something that whenever she does anything will be brought up. I want to hear her and Tom discuss this. That will be interesting, because as ridiculous as what she was doing, as far as I'm concerned, Tom's the shithead.
Yeah, and while she was in the facility, you know, assuming we do think it's real, he was on tour. I mean, he was on tour, shirtless, singing every night to a whole bunch of female groupies, single. So, right, like that's how his several months were spent, selling tickets, making money. The tickets did sell after the first few shows. So I would love to see, like, does she understand this, that while she was recovering, he was living his best life as a rock star? That wouldn't go over so well with me.
And we heard that Lisa and Tom had a knockdown drag out.
That's what the rumors are. Now, I don't know what that's about. I haven't heard anything, but I've heard that that's what's happened. So I wonder I mean, Lisa also, I wonder if Lisa came back now. Like, Lisa got a lot of flack last season for that one scene where he's crying in her house and she was sympathetic. And, you know, Lisa was standing by him, which I don't blame her. She's part, you know, they're in business together, and Tom. But I don't know. I don't know if Lisa's now like, I better distance myself from, but I mean, also rumor is Tom is just stomping around. And like, I think Tom is a true narcissist who loves this. Like, I think he loves walking down the street and having TMZ stop him every day and still want to talk about this. I think he's loving it. That's my opinion.
I think he's loving it too. And then did you see the photos of Ariana and Derek Huff going to lunch? And they're trying to create a story. I read a couple of things like, oh, is it just lunch? And everyone's forgetting that Derek Huff's engaged, and happily. He's not like this player guy.
And Ariana does have a boyfriend, Daniel Way, which no one seems to want to remember. Yeah.
But, you know, and then she's on Love Island. No, okay. I think she's also probably gotten a book deal.
I mean, probably, right? I mean, it could go in so many different ways. It doesn't even have to be your life story. It could be like how to rebound, you know, it could be like a women's like self-help book. It could be so many things.
How far though can they, and I mean the show, the franchise, ride this? Do we think one more season that they can get all the drama before it becomes where I hit and maybe other people don't, like, guys, get your acts together, you know? And that's what happened to me with a couple shows where I'm just like, really, you know?
Yeah. I think that's what ties into housewife